Hello.
Did you beat Metaphor?
I beat Metaphor. Can we talk about Metaphor? Can we talk about Metaphor?
Yeah, can we talk about Metaphor?
All right, hold on. Okay, let's go.
Oh, okay. It's Metaphor Spoilercast now. Okay.
All right, everyone, we're going to talk about Metaphor Refantazio. Here comes the Spoilercast. So
I cannot believe that the main villain of
hold on. Give them a second to leave.
Give them a second.
Give them a second to leave. This is a very big game that literally you're the only person I know that actually beat it. Everyone I know that plays these games,
it's long.
It's very long. So people that I know love these games still need a minute to get through it. It takes so long. So yes,
and that was because I went super hard on it. I would do like a 6-hour stream, and then I would help put the baby to bed, and then go back at like 10:30 p.m. and do until like 2 in the morning.
And I was going at what I felt was like a reasonable push for this, especially for this week, and it was still the insane Atlas, we are never letting you go, vibe. And so anyway, so let's...
You know what's really funny about that vibe is that it does feel like it is a marathon. But you look at the dates and like, oh, it's 4 months?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it'll be like way shorter.
But what I actually feel, and that Punch Mom came through and was like, did you beat it yet? And I was like, no, that wasn't even, that wasn't even the beginning of the farewell tour. It's like... RPGs are, every genre has gone through the thing where, people that have been playing them their entire lives need higher and higher bars set for each entry. And now if you're not splitting it into 3 giant things, you get this kind of like persona bar where Atlas RPGs are going to just be more and more. And like, to recommend this, it's a very good game to tell people that you're going to be spending minimum 100 hours. Right?
This is a great Christmas present game.
It's so demanding of your time. and for this to be going into like adulthood where responsibilities mean you have less and less time is nuts. It's nuts that the group of people that were like, I have a ton of time and I'm in high school and I'm in college, that we were playing like Persona a while ago, are now who's buying these things, but you have less time than ever, but they have to hit a bar that's higher than ever of your time. It's so long.
The ultimate game as length argument that I can think of right now is that if I got a video game for Christmas and it was the one video game, would that last me my entire Christmas break?
I mean,
right? Atlas games will, and then some.
So here's the thing. To play it at the breakneck speeds that I'd say you make it through, or Shmup Godpad.
This is the fastest I've ever played a game. It's
an unhealthy amount required, right?
No, Elden Ring was the fastest.
Okay, and here's the thing. Consider somebody who has a job that is not able to play video games as part of that job. Yeah. It's unreasonable. It's unreasonable for someone to work a normal...
Let's do the math on this. The average person after work or whatever is going to have an hour, 2 hours of video game time a day. If they wanted to dedicate that time in their life to video game, right?
When I was trying to get through stuff, that would be a realistic depiction of it, I'd say, for me. Or there was friends who liked to crush achievements, get through everything. Yeah. They'd be able to put in 3, sometimes even 4 if they stayed up late, Okay,
but let's say you get an hour and a half a night. If you want to be reasonable. Now, you're not going to do that every single night.
No.
Let's say you do that every other. That's 100 days.
Yeah,
right there. That's 100 days.
Scratch a few weekends where you say, you know what, this Sunday I'm going to throw my whole Sunday at the game. Okay.
Yeah, and you know what happens? Your wife is like, why don't we go antique chair shopping? And you're like, that sounds great, honey. I would love an antique chair I can't sit in.
Yeah, responsibilities do start to kick in. Anyway, so all that is understood, and
that is a fictional scenario.
But the
totally fictional,
not at all real, based on reality. But the point remains is that it's insane what they're asking, but I'm not complaining about the quality. All right, so
did you see the part of the game that they cut? Did you see it with your eye? where you go to a bespoke famous location and fight one boss fight and leave.
Oh, yes.
The fucking school that they're building up the whole game.
Yes.
The fucking ice school, and then you go to have a boss fight in front of it and you don't enter.
Okay, so we can talk about it. There's a couple different angles for this. There's certainly as a video game, there's what's going on with it, like with the just asset usage and the way it's built. But what I was scribbling notes down as I was going through it, especially like for this last part, because I thought I had it figured out, and then I didn't. And then the closing like rush, that final month, really switched up what I kind of thought was going on with the game. Okay, so for one, right? And I feel like they've left. As much as this is, it's the most political game that I've played out of Atlas.
No, it's not. It's a metaphor.
I don't. I know that I feel like whenever I say these things, someone will go like, "Bro, Persona 1 though," or an SMT game I haven't played, and I'd be like, "Yeah, okay, fair enough." But
no, this is the most. This is the most by far, 100%.
Of the 5 that I've played, right? This is now the 6th. This feels like the most, and with that, it is also like them. Yeah, it's them going. It's their version of like, you can't go Disco Elysium hard, but this is as hard as we can go within
the context of
where
system.
We are, exactly within our own system, within our location, our time, space, whatever placement.
It's also like not just necessarily narratively, but there's also politically, but there's also a narrative bent to it. Because there's been an ongoing problem in fiction for a long time, which is it's incredibly difficult to write a charismatic villain that people don't end up just fawning over to the point where their own ideals shift their perspective.
Yes, the first time the first time
Tony Montana and Walter White and shit like this. The
first time you encounter a villain where you're like, the villain is debatably right. Where people are going like, this person did nothing wrong, and you're like, ooh, I like that kind of villain way more than cartoonish evil.
Then you get this one and you think that's what he's going for. Nah, fuck it.
Take it a step further, right? And it's interesting how you can have like an RPG play out where the twists are not even really huge twists. They're all very foreseeable. The only major real one is like the reasons why the villain is doing what he's doing. But let's.
I think they've gone really far with like anti-twists in this game, in that motivations and methods and Machiavellian things. I mean, there's some good ass twists in there, right?
Oh yeah.
But like the single biggest twist of the whole fucking game to me was that Lewis was him. Like, assassination attempt, followed by boss fight, followed by fall through the fucking thing. No, I'm okay. Really?
Oh,
you just lived through that? Are you serious?
I mean, so for me, I looked at that and I'm like, that's the Griffith in you that is just dragging you through sheer determination to the finish line, because how hard you believe in your ideals determines how far you can go. Right?
Like, there's
your
real,
convictions
like, I lived
are your real life bar. Yeah, bitch, I lived. But no, your convictions are your real life bar. That
I do have to give them like props for having a second villain whose motivations have no depth at all.
Which one?
Adachi would be the first one.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay, right.
It'll get to Lewis. Why are you doing this? Because everyone was mean to me when I was a baby.
No. I'm not gonna say no depth there. I disagree with that part. But I think though, just backing it up a little bit, the fact too as well that like, every time they make a point here, right? You can feel like in P3, 4, and so where like you have a personal revelation and then you kind of internalize it, and like you spend the rest of the game kind of like revisiting those topics from moment to moment, but you kind of leave that resolution where it was, where you're not you're facing your true self happens. and then you go on to solve the external problem in a way, you know. In this case, I feel like even after you solve the problem, they spend so much time being like, hey, listen, just because people believe in you because you fought and saved them from a big evil does not mean they agree with your ideals, right? The happily ever after as a concept is not going to suddenly switch on just because the sky turned blue. And they spend...
Heisme is like the most peak of that in this game, where you go through his thing and you deal with the Yugif and their racism and all that, and the kid, and it's so sad. And then you still play through most of the game where he's like, I don't like those fucking cat boys on this ship.
Yeah. Which, I mean, and you know, you have that. It's such a trope, but I love it. Is that moment of, you know, Basilio being like, "Hey, old man, you sure you want to die next to a fucking cat boy?" He's like, no. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. Okay. One, human beings, are panic attacks.
Yeah.
To be a human is to have a panic attack.
Yeah, that's right.
It is anxiety exploding out of you till it gets externalized in a completely unfamiliar, unknowable, insane form. And that is like...
it's a metaphor.
Yes, right? Having a panic attack, having anxiety, to that, when it explodes out of you, it turns you into a titan. You know? That's already like that's a fantastic metaphor. It's, you know, starting there and basically looking at it like, you know, I think we have, you know, there's a line where it's like, nature used to be man's biggest threat, you know, but then eventually it became fear, and it became internal things, you know, and I would say that like a lot of fiction have talked about like you know, fear and hatred as these like these things that are, you know, they poison the mind, and a lot of our fiction has been about going against that. Anxiety, in particular, is a very specific and modern flavor of that, you know, because it's not the same as just hatred and just fear. It's a very specific flavor, and at one point, Gallica says, it's a mixture of hope and fear at the same time, and I'm like, ooh, that's a really good way to put it, you know. So I like that becomes like a focal point of what the game is dealing with, to the point where like it's literally the currency of magic.
Like, oh no, I'm being attacked by ennui. Oh fuck.
I mean, like ennui almost implies like disconnection from it, though, right? Like this is being way too engaged and being unable to see outside of your own shit. There's and overall, like I feel like you know, as you're kind of you're getting towards those final months, this is one of my favorite contexts for the super mission, your kind of side super boss,
totally
the
integrated
dragons,
into the primary plot,
into the thesis statement of the game. It's a really great way to introduce that, right? Because you start putting together basically, okay, to me at the very least, my interpretation of the events are the thing that they keep repeating: strive towards fantasy, right? My reading on that is that like there's no perfect democratic utopia. That doesn't exist. Reading about it in this book in this way, and you're like, hey, that's kind of like our world. That's fucking crazy. That's not a utopia, right? There's nobility in striving towards the impossible idea, because you are creating a positive world and helping as many people on the way to that impossible goal, right? So I feel like that is what they're getting at. And there's a couple of points where, like, okay, you're keeping that in mind and going forward with things, and then the sort of the tower quest, and then the dragons, and then the final one is a really interesting, like, okay, if that's your thesis statement, let's like argue against that, right? Let's steelman it. Let's go, well, it's great that you're inspiring hope in people. That's cool. And you're teaching people that if you conquer the anxiety inside of you, you can reach greater heights, you know, and become something more and overcome your trials, right? But the whole final dragon bit, the conversation they have at the end is like, okay, but just because you're inspiring hope in people, like, what's the difference between that and like complacency, believing in someone that can do the job for you, essentially? And like the questions that it asks right up front, like your party almost goes, shit, he's got a point. Like, they kind of buy into it, and then it's only after beating it that they're like, no. Just because someone can do it for you does not mean that you just need to sit and let that happen, right? Being autonomous, being self-determining is super important as well to this. So, yes, face your inner fears and all that, and overcome your anxieties, and other people can help you with that, and you can rely on others to show you that. But don't... when you're relying on them, don't have that be like, I'm going to sit back and have them drag me out of it. You know, I can't get out of it myself if I'm not moving, waiting for someone to pull me out of my shit.
I was really glad that the game had an extremely extended epilogue that goes into this in more detail, where it's like, listen, the city on the hill is a metaphor. It's supposed to be a striving goal that you can never quite reach, right?
It.
And so the entire epilogue is you going to every single person you have ever met going, things are definitely better than they were during the election, but there's a lot of work to go. It's going to take a really, really long time. And we may never do it, but boy, howdy, I'm going to give it a shot.
The world is slow to change. Things are, all these issues that we're dealing with are way more complicated than, again, happily ever after, you know? And what's the line? There's there's that bit where right at the end of that super boss, the true enemy is the mind that refuses to see the complexities in the world around them, right? Yes, you can black and white things, but like, if you are like trying to if you're trying to look at this in a way where you want to not just see this type of suffering cycle over and over again, acknowledge that it's more than like the people that are looking at Luis and being like, nah, I want to believe in that though. I have something inside of me that's like, yeah, that's easy, that's simple. I am the right person I need to be on top and whatever. It's going to take a while to root that kind of shit out. You can't just like hand wave it away. But overall, march towards the unreachable city on the hill, march towards fantasy, and like landing somewhere in between that in reality is a pretty good place to be in the meantime. Now,
just aim for the moon and you'll
land among the stars. But then it's like, okay, but hold on a minute, pause. More is like, I am offering you reality, the one that you, the player, knows. You can take it. Nothing's wrong here. It's fine. Just take it. It's good. That'll do, right?
What a great psych out. What a great psych out
really
for the player
good.
only. Like Will is not super psyched out by modern day Shibuya, but we are.
Yep.
And then you're further psyched out by the fact that you look at it a little more closely and wait, it's wrong. All that text is gibberish.
But here's the thing. For us, the player, right, what is more comforting than escaping into the world you know as a Japanese college student playing a JRPG? Like, escape into the inside world you know of comfort, where it's safe and nothing's crazy's happening and it's not dangerous, and you can just believe in this closed off thing, you know? Escape inside when the outside world gets too scary, and just believe in nothing, you know, and lock it down and don't let the outside world, and like, nah, you got to reject that shit, obviously, you know? But it's like, it's the fact that it's done through the lens of the player is particularly powerful. I also like, it's such a basic, simple trick, but I can't believe it fucking still works. When Earthbound asks you to put in your name, and you fucking do, and then and then they take a minute, but when they come back around to using it, oh fuck, it's me.
Long time later,
you know? And that same thing here, where you're like, oh, what the? I put my name in? When did I do that? Oh fuck, yeah. Right, a million years ago. That's really well done. I love, so like, I feel like that, yeah, they responsibly address material, and then like take a minute to just go point by point on each of these struggles and go like, yep, we're gonna keep working on this. That's how you actually epilogue a story and denouement the climb down, right? On Luis, your twist, quote unquote, it's so simple because it's him the whole way through, but it's like survival of the fittest, a big strongest survive plot world or whatever.
I gotta say, the survival of the fittest guy actually surviving because he's the fittest for 99% of the runtime was very refreshing.
Yeah, but it's also, again, it's a world that, you know, villains usually want because they're like, well, I'm strong, so I'll thrive, and I want this, you know, twisted like version of like, yeah, power might makes right, and just make the world all about that, right?
Also,
end of story.
Like a really clear metaphorical thing with Lucifer and the SMT series, in that like he looks like Lucifer, he acts like Lucifer. His ending for the world is the chaos ending for every SMT game, in which it's like, well, no, the tough people will fucking thrive in this monsterized utopia.
How about him taking off the fucking crown?
Oh, you mean Lamar face Lewis?
You know, the horns.
Lost my mind.
Yeah,
I lost it.
Yeah. But the bit where it's just like, what's the simple thing that you're like, that's different here? What's your twist? And it's like, oh yeah, he still wants a world of these insane anxiety monsters popping off everywhere, but the idea is those who are strong, not physically but of will, can overcome it and do what you did and fight your way through on your own to the other side and find determination. And
he is basically Senator Armstrong.
The strongest survive, but like, it's like, I understand that it would be unfair to say that like Granny needs to fight off a demon. So it's not that. It's Granny needs to be internally strong enough to quell the demon inside, right? And furthermore, why am I wrong? This stupid fucking staff has been taking away their anxieties forever. They were supposed to feel that shit. I'm just giving you back everything that was already yours, you know? Of course, you want to talk about your metaphors, the crown literally weighing, literally taking the weight of everyone's pressure, right? Everyone laying their anxieties on it, taking the blame, so to speak.
Why does the king look like shit so bad? Oh my God. Oh, yes, he suffered personal tragedy, but he's just like slumping around, willing to fucking kill himself at any drop of a hat.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, well, he's kind of absorbing an entire society's worth of bullshit.
And so that's why you have like towards the end, the party is like, does Luis have a point? And they're like, yes, but still, you know, he wants people to overcome their anxiety too, but he wants you to do it alone, you know? And like having friends, fuck that bullshit. That's for losers. That's lame. Be strong on your own. Don't trust other people. And of course, S-Links goes against the very fucking, you know, philosophy of that. I only wish in those moments that like Will, the protagonist, spoke to Luis the way that Stroll or Gallica is yelling at him. Yeah, you know, I wish that your silent protag, who's not silent,
gets more of a personality as the game goes on.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, you want to hit those points and like challenge them rhetorically. Speaking of lines and shit too as well. Some of the absolute bangers. One, Luis starting the fight with "Let it begin" is a fire line for a final boss fight. Obviously, the academia theme, like divine god heaven remix is the greatest shit. You know, throwing in your staying sane in a fight, not bloody likely. Like getting your Seinfeld in there, always fun. But what I fucking popped off for is throughout the whole game, my favorite battle cry on the party was Hulkenberg. Every once in a while when you go to her, for all that we strive for, right? I fucking love that line. It's the best line the entire fucking party has. It's great. I get pumped up every time I hear it. And having that then, when you get to him, get echoed and Luis goes back with, for all that I believe, I'm like, they know. They know how good that line is because he has his own version of it. I love that mirror. It's amazing.
How did the fight with Luis go for you?
Okay. So my build was I had it took me to I had 7 days left before I was like pretty much like, all right, hit the Coliseum up, waste time, you know.
Yeah. It looks like the math on it. You look at when you get there, you're like, oh, maybe I don't have enough. You definitely have enough time to do absolutely everything.
So by the time I unlocked Prince, so Prince is insanely busted, and you're like, why would I ever use anything else? Like, switch over to your merchant if you need to make some cash, and if you need to make some, to farm or whatever.
I'm just gonna feed all my good abilities into Prince.
But the moment I got that and. Excuse me, and then Stroll Royal Warrior, it was like, oh yeah, it's done. Because the joke, I had to slow down how strong I was to make sure I didn't miss phases of each fight, right?
So I definitely should have done that.
I remember.
I definitely missed phases.
Okay, so did you miss the phase of Luis or did you miss the phase of Zorba?
I missed both of them. I missed Luis. I had to be told while the credits were running that Luis has the racist attacks.
Yes. He started one on me, but I stopped him before he did anything.
I literally saw 0 of them. So what happened is that I had Prince, and Prince was fucked out. I had Juna on, not Juna. I had Yufa on support, which she could do everything. Then I had Heizme as a debuffer, and then I had Basilio for damage. And so what ended up happening is Basilio's turn would come up, and he would use a 1-stock turn sync attack that would like break the damage limit and give the boss a blunt damage weakness.
Okay,
and then Heizme would debuff, and then Yufa would buff Basilio, and then Prince would attack, and then Basilio would hit the weakness that he created with a 1-turn sync attack.
Yeah.
And then it was the boss's turn. The boss would target Heizme because I had every single thing on Heizme going target me, and he would miss, and he would lose eight turns. It would be my turn again.
So that ability is really busted for sure. Heizme's final ability. You can buy it on a ring, by the way, and put that on your character too. So the dodge ring does the same thing. That was pretty nice. Getting Heizme's final fucking thief
it's a lot.
Batshit. It's so nuts.
It's the best ability in the game because it breaks every encounter. And as a result, they're like, well, you're gonna have to work for it.
Yeah, it's so
have to really work
each time I was like, okay, I have to get merchant up. Okay, what do I got to do? You got to go. Okay, now you got to go get fucking sniper up to get. Oh my god! And then each branch, you have to invest like halfway up, like maybe like 10 different trees of that to get to his.
But yeah, there's a lot of shit that's broken in that game, like broken.
Okay, so I was not. So okay, well, 2 things. One, so with the racist attack, I didn't get to see what it does, but I saw him go. He basically started going like he started talking shit about Clamar, I think, and then he was priming it, but then I just stopped him before he could do it.
So what happens is that he will talk shit about Clamar, and the next turn he will kill any Clamar party member on the field, which is only Stroll.
Yeah.
So you swap in.
Okay.
And so it's supposed to be all the races are working together, and that's why you have a member of every single race on the team. Because
you have to switch them. Okay, you have to you have to bring in people of other races that can cover the ground.
He pulls out a race card and goes next turn.
You know what's funny too is the idea of like. Well, I mean, Jesus Christ, like the races in this where you're like, oh, these are like if you wanted to talk about like race where it's like things that people that came from humanity and stuff, it's like, yeah, okay, but then like the Yugif that is literally another race, right?
That is very different.
When human beings talk about race, we're using the wrong word technically because we're the same human race.
We're talking about shade.
So Kleins is the word, right? Like there's
Klein, okay.
Right, Kleins is basically like whatchamacallit, eco variations of the same creature, you know? And so that,
like, most of it is like sunny weather or not adaptation.
Yes, we tend to work the word race in when we start bringing in, like, you know, the culture or the social more and the other aspects of it.
Well, race is a construct to tell us that there's a fundamental difference here. It's not like dogs and wolves. It's like wolves and pugs.
You're sounding like a realist right now. Don't be a.
I'm sorry, I'm getting too real over
You're
here.
getting too real. But
you in the lobby of Big Pug.
But when you get a bat creature standing next to you and you're like, that is my best friend, you know, that's an actual, like, race thing. But you have
and then you get what are their names, the Juna with the eyeballs and Alonzo.
Oh God. Oh yeah. The shapeshifters. I mean,
yeah, the fucking potato liars.
Yeah. I forget, but you get to see like her little one for like her little blob for a second. Lalafels.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, 100%.
We don't even show each other. God damn it.
Nydia, that's it.
We're too Nydia. We're too afraid.
Nydia.
That shit is super fun. My build ended up being Prince with Almighty Boost and Arcane Unity.
Everyone, yes, do
right?
that. It's built. It's for you. It does Almighty.
Yeah.
Get Almighty off of Merchant, which is best on the MC, and put it on it.
Almighty all day. Like, by the time you're hitting bosses that are like fully resistant, I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit, right? I put on the counter and magic counter, because like when those pop off, you lose all turns. And the crucial bit was that last item that you can pick up at the magic shop, the utilitarian manual, where double techs cost 1 turn.
That is
insane.
That is
borked to infinity.
I feel like that is an item that they should not have let you buy until New Game Plus.
It's batshit. It's completely batshit.
Because I was describing Basilio giving himself damage cap breaking weaknesses into themselves because of that fucking thing.
Oh, so for me, what I ended up getting, it was Stroll. I had Stroll with the utilitarian manual. And then the beloved greatsword, which is the sword that buffs up synthesis, right? So fuck the high-end final end sword for him. The one that buffs your synthesis skills triples their damage. And
yeah, of course.
You unlock the 999 everything die synthesis, right? With Prince, but it's like I was hitting like 14K. With Stroll doing Crimson Moon sword art, the amazing like red one where you just you slash the screen up, annihilated every single fight.
They wanted you to beat this game, right? Atlas games, like, you can get into a problem with an Atlas game in which you get to the end and you're like, this party isn't gonna do it. They're not gonna. Oh shit, right? So they gave you here's like 40 days to get your shit in order. And also the final dungeon is you could just level yourself to infinity. That's it. And it's fast.
Tyrant Star is what do you want the game to be when you fight? You sit here for as long as you want and go as hard as you want to. It's very simple, you know? The auto spawners actually come back when you leave. It just says, how much time you got? Where do you want to get to, you know? And it's interesting because for all the challenges you're deleting, there's that one dragon where it puts you down to 300, you know? Where it's like you have the poison dragon. Destroyer of the Stars, I think it was called, where it's just like, yeah, you're gonna have less HP, but who the fuck cares? Hulkenberg is sitting in the back doing Holy Knight's Proclamation and shielding everybody, and getting a turn back for doing it. Like, we're not going anywhere.
If I was gonna say one thing about Metaphor as like a problem, if you go hard on it, like I did, you get into a situation where like I broke the game before 9/11.
Okay.
Like, and I basically ran the game plan I described to you to beat Lewis from the events of 9/11 onward with like no change at all, and nothing could stop me at all. Like nothing, like bosses were throwing out gimmicks and shit like that. Like, no, they didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I noticed too that like I wanted to stay on the build that I had, and it was like the game was like, yeah, but go explore, make other builds, have fun, you know. It was, so I switched off for the parts after 9/11 up until the Inner Sanctum, but yeah, they chose the dates, y'all.
Oh, it was so on purpose.
Like the good old days before 9/11.
Hey, can I just talk about like a really, really great lie that the devs told before this game came out? Like a great lie. So the devs said, when people ask, hey, can I romance my S-Lings?
Oh, I knew you were going to talk about romance. Yeah,
and they said there are no optional romances in Metaphor. And people went, I can't believe it. And so you play Metaphor and you start going through every single character's S-Link, and they're right. There are no optional romances because they have decided, fuck you, we are picking for you this time. And it is the girl who, if you are Will Metaphor, then she is euphemism.
She's euphemism. Exactly.
Like,
exactly. And guess what? Last time y'all tried to shove me next to Yukari on that beach, and I raged against it forever. This time around, Yufa rules, so that's great. I had no
sweet.
I had
like
no
her.
issues with it whatsoever. The party is awesome. The party's great. And if you
it's the best RPG party since like FF7.
Like if you
every single character there is a winner.
They're all amazing. They're all good. It was so strong, you know. Even if you're like I like Juna more, and Juna's like, hey, I got something to confess to you. I'll tell you after the adventure's over. We'll talk about it another time. So even if you felt like putting your feelings out there, the game's like, yeah, it's not what we're trying to do right now, you know. No, man. Everyone, like I said it when I first got Heisme, but I was like, I can't, like, I'm so compelled by his quest, by his plot, by the fact that he has like amazing wisdom that he drops. That he says shit. I wish Heisme was there for like every other RPG that I've ever played.
I totally agree.
You know,
he's so incredible.
Ugh. It's like, he's like, I know where you're coming from. I get it. But like, he talks you down, man. Yeah. And like the whole time too, when Del and Basilio were hanging out, I was like, I know it's going to be one of these cat boys. Please be Basilio. Please be Basilio. Cause he's cooler. You know, I dug his vibe more. And, I'm glad I won that bet.
There's something about Del that kind of broke for me, because the game is using like a 60s 70s like British fashion style, and like I dig it, but for some reason Del was the one where I'm like instead of being its own like take on like a style of fashion in a new setting, I look at Del and I'm like, that dude is trying to be one of the Beatles.
Yeah.
And the fact that he has like a Liverpool accent like doesn't help.
Aggressively. They are aggressively looking like 60s, 70s fucking UK Brit pop dudes for sure.
Yeah, like he's a tiny Paul McCartney.
God, fucking what are the brothers that the British brothers that have the famous song and then they split up and now they're coming back together and then they fucking whatever, doesn't matter. I can't.
ZZ Top?
No.
That wasn't even close.
That's not even
my
remotely.
God.
That's not even remotely. Oasis.
Oh my God.
Yes, I was just like, fuck it. I'm like, here comes Oasis, like 70s coded. But no, but between the two, that was great. And I loved it when I started pushing Basilio towards pugilist, and then martial artist, and like when you pick that archetype and get into a fight with him, and he's like, I love this path. This is the perfect style for me. He keeps saying it over and over, like, you did it, you picked the right one. And it's like, you did pick the right one, because this is going to be part of his final requirement,
It's weird to me how the game balances the the archetypes, in that, well, this guy's going to join the party really late, so he's not going to have the built-up archetypes that the other characters are going to have. So what we're going to do is make each starting archetype more and more busted right out the gate.
Yeah.
You get Juna, and you're like, this is busted. Then you get Yufa, and you're like, no, this is busted. And then you get Basilio, and you're like, oh, I don't even have to use my fucking brain here.
Why even bother investing in other types when I can just invest in masks and power through with mass dancer, like it or the summons are just
I gave Juna like the mask wizard, the mask of the wizard, and it carried me like the whole game.
Yeah, I threw healer on her, it's great. I don't know if you had this, but that fucking cat in Academia that gives you a reward the first time you pet it, and then never again for the rest of the game. 150 fucking hours later, you're just like, oh, he's so cute. And I'm like, why did you give me a reward the first time? Why did you
because petting cats is cool.
Of course. But then now it's in your brain. You're like, oh, maybe this, and like, this is a game where if you use the bathroom on the right day, you might get a luck bonus. If you fucking...
Oh, did you ever figure out what the specific
every
rules
5
for
days.
that were?
Every 5 days. Yeah, right.
That's too far.
It's like...
That's not good for you.
Obtuseness, right? So that's the thing is I'm like, oh, there must be a trick to the cat, and the reward off the cat will be based on when you go or whatever. It's like, no, you just get the one, and now you're gonna install a mechanic you'll never use again in the person's brain. So yeah, you talk about the cut dungeon that is the magic school, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, like they walk up to it, they look at it in the background, and then a dragon drops in front of you, and you're like,
no, don't go in there. We didn't finish it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
But and then at the same time too, like this whole thing of like, this is our own new franchise, this is its own new place, Metaphor is a new IP. That is, you don't have to compare it to Soul Hacker, Trickster, Persona Master, like fucking
that's not
Devil Summoner, Dragon Grace Shinjuku.
You've been playing this game like in a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how far it goes with the Shinjuku dungeon?
I mean, beyond seeing it for what it is.
Oh, okay. No. Woolie, okay, so I started to delve deep into the dungeon where it goes to Shinjuku, and I'm like, wow, it is nuclear apocalypse again. They literally cannot help themselves.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Minotaur at the bottom of this.
Like, they cannot help themselves. It has to be this. But then you get to the Shinjuku dungeon. Metaphor is not an SMT game. It is an Etrian Odyssey game. That is the final dungeon of Etrian Odyssey 1.
Oh.
That is the exact layout.
Oh my god, that's why it's so fucking mazy and complex. Etria. Okay, because on Etria, I was going like the air. I kept, I looked at EHT as like a scrambled the, and then I was like, I can't
Yeah, because in Etrian Odyssey, it deals with a similar apocalypse in which a tree grows from the bottom to like rejuvenate society.
Okay.
So Etrian Odyssey 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be built on that island in the future.
Oh my god.
That's what the FOE system is. Like, because that's why you have to deal with them in the grid, and they move with you on the grid, because that's how it works in Etrian Odyssey.
That's why the bouncing ears are moving. Yeah, okay, and there's doors and shit, and because like that is the most complex map to navigate, and it takes a fucking while to get through all those floors.
Because it's a different game's final dungeon.
Gotcha. And when you look out the windows, you're looking at SMT4. You know.
Well, no, you're looking at Etrian Odyssey. Untold.
Oh, is it also like fallen Shinjuku City?
Yes.
I see. Gotcha. Okay.
This is what I mean. Like, they literally cannot help themselves.
Okay.
Like, Atlas, Atlas believes there will be a nuclear holocaust and that demons will happen.
Okay. Yeah. I like, but it's also that like we're gonna give you the nods and we're gonna give you the things, and you're like, okay, that's cool. You're gonna summon fucking Jack Frost. I'm like, oh, there he is. It's. Yeah.
Hey man, okay.
Hey. Yeah. So that's all fun.
I seen him.
But I do feel that like the way this played out too is that it feels like this is the start of a new franchise though. Like this feels like I didn't get the feeling of this being a one-off. I felt like this is going to be a revisited thing, and mean
at the end they literally ride off into the sunset to
fantasy lives on. Yeah.
And then they say, hey, what about that other country that you're going to across the sea? Are we ever going to go there? Maybe one day.
I mean, the motivations are they're very reasonable. It's like, yeah, the world did not see you kill the monster. They just saw you win. So you should probably go actually inspire them, or at least meet them, so that you're not a faceless king, you know?
I think there's something amazing that this game does, and Final Fantasy 16 also does. Where it's like these cataclysmic world-altering events are actually taking place in somewhat isolated continents of a larger world that doesn't know what's going on.
Well, this whole game deals with one election. it's one election of one country, you know? You have to imagine the Canada of this world just looking down and being like, what the fuck is going on in November?
What?
Like,
hey, we got guys looking at the country with the telescopes, and they got flying cities and shit over there. What do you think's going on over there?
In November 4th, I see a giant face floating over America. Like, we're like, what are you guys up to? Like, okay, I'm going back to bed. This is crazy. You know, it's one nation. It's simply one place. Yeah. I love, because, okay, I don't know how quickly you pieced it together, but I mean, obviously more is fucking Hydolatheus.
Right?
Like, yeah, it's like that much I'm like, just look at him. Look at his hair. Look at yes, that is the most obvious fit.
That's not even
it.
That's not even like it. It's that like Thomas More wrote Utopia, and Hythlodaeus is the fucking king in Utopia.
Okay.
So it's like it's even more obvious on top of that.
Didn't catch that reference. Okay.
And there's a character named Hythlodaeus in Final Fantasy 14.
Oh yeah,
which also has to do with Utopia.
Interesting. Okay,
it's a metaphor.
I didn't catch the sources on those name references. Interesting. I like that. You deliberately, obviously, don't spend too much time with the king or so, because you need to make sure that these twists, quote unquote, as obvious as they're going to be, make sense. The one with the prince, the moment they're like, you should pretend to be him, I'm like, all right, that's it. You're not even trying anymore, game. But
come on.
But the whole bit where it's like okay, so just in the same way that the prince is like that Will is the second the magical cast off, the mirror double. You have More, who is like the mirror double of the king, but More is from his fucking hipster days when he was a young beatnik.
This is what I look like when I fucked your mom.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh, this is the one who was rizzed up.
I was killing it, man. I was killing it.
Right? He pulled up Motorcycle Diaries. He pulled up and he fucking swooned the Elden Princess, and he jumped in the libraries and he was like, talking all that world revolution. We gotta fight. We gotta change things. You know, like he was so full of piss and vinegar, and he still got the beret on sideways. I'm like, of course, it's not the old king with the fucking.
Yeah, this is my idealized self. This is my best me.
Yeah. That Moore is the one who fucking laid the pipe down.
It is wild to me. It's like, man, okay, so wow, Forden was behind everything. That I was like legitimately shocked that he was behind every part of every problem.
He was involved in each step, yes.
Like all these different threads always get back to a cutscene where he's like, yeah, do it.
Yeah, and that is extra impactful because the game opens on Luis stabbing King in the chest. The first thing you see is die, old man.
Yeah,
fucking
but then
die.
On top of that, I love that we got like one of my favorite parts of the ending into the final thing is you get to see, hey, Forden's dead, and we've established that he was behind it all, right? Mm-hmm. But like they keep saying but the king could have like stopped him at any time, mm-hmm. right? And so you get to actually see cutscenes of Forden being like, "Yo, so I'm gonna just take political power away from you," and Hythlodaeus is like, "Fucking, I don't even care, man. Do whatever."
Yeah.
Totally your fault. The whole thing is 100% your fault.
But it's interesting because like he in the same way, he's very much like Luis, and that's why that moment where he saves you and he's like, nah, just give up, dude. He's coming from the same place because he's looking at it like both Luis and Hythlodaeus are looking at it like revenge is pointless because the system is broken. And like, yeah, I can fucking solve my own grief, but that's not the problem here. I want to fix it at a larger, more macro zoomed out scale. So
the word fix is doing some very heavy lifting.
Yeah. So that's it. So it's like in the same way that it's like, yeah, Luis could go kill all the people that burnt down the village, but what the fuck does that accomplish? You know, same thing where Hythlodaeus is like, yeah, it's the mind, you know? And so I'm going to force democracy as a system upon my death is a pretty interesting premise and setup like bit. I didn't know that was a part of the game at all, you know? So like that was probably the biggest like twist that I was like, oh shit, there's a death game thing happening here, you know? Side note, when the King's Magic is protecting all the entrants and you're high up in the ranks, does it ever it never applies to you, the protagonist, as a player, because you are consensually fighting with every enemy that you're encountering.
It does. There is 2 instances. That shithead with the dog attacks you.
Yes.
And dies.
Yes.
Like dies.
Bordel.
And,
yeah.
The boss fight that you have with the monk in the very beginning, Godot.
Yeah.
Where if you attack him, you just die.
Okay, yeah. So I never. You can't attack. So I never attacked him in that one. Okay, that was part of the system. But I was wondering, I was like, in gameplay, did they was there ever a moment where anyone attacking you?
They do a lot to make it so that once you've hit a certain ranking, that this situations is kind of unlikely to come up.
Yeah. Okay. Because that's my whole. I'm like, when you're high ranking and running through a dungeon, why can anything even touch you? You know.
Oh, people will point out in the opera house, and you're going through the opera house. They will only target you.
Yes, for sure.
Because they can't target you because they'll die.
But like, I guess up until that point, nothing else that you're fighting counts, I suppose.
No. Well, you're fighting humans or animals
or other bits,
people that you engaged in a duel with on equal terms.
Congrats to Atlas for creating another Nanako that's pure and awesome.
And she's so good. And the archetype she gives you and the bonuses she gives you are the best in the whole game.
Cooking. I mean, what?
Speed cooking and flat experience bonuses? Sorry, percentile experience bonuses? Yes, please.
Also, I'm going to just go make infinite MP heals now and the game is now a joke because I'll do my best saves.
The items I brought into the final dungeon, I looked at them and I'm like, there's nothing that can stop me.
There's nothing.
Like,
there's
even
literally,
if I didn't break my characters, I'm like, I built myself like 50 somas. Like, who can stop this?
Yeah. So no, Maria, amazing Nanako too. Good job. Nailed it. Perfect. Awesome.
And you get to hang out with her mom sometimes when you go down there.
You sure do. And she's all right. I will, and to that end, I was like, I hope, because I'm like, surely there will be a moment when you're doing the final attack and you have to think of all your bods, right? And it's like, not exactly, but I was waiting to have that one where you go through all of them, and then the last one is going to be Grius. You know, but where there's no big kind of like Grius moment. I was hoping for a real Grius moment right before, you know.
The only thing that you get there is that in the final battle you have one of every single race on your team except for I forget the name, but Grius's race.
Parapus?
He should have been there.
No, he's a Parapus.
No, Grius is not a Parapus. He's one of the older guys. He's a rogue. Grius is a rogue.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So it's like, it should have been everybody.
Right, okay.
But he didn't get to be there.
He represents them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, and then I mean it's a little thing, but I was waiting because they give you Grius's memento in your inventory, and like looking at that every time I'm scrolling through my items, I'm like, they're gonna do something, you know. But yeah, they didn't really but I mean they talk about him enough, you know, like they talk about Alcest throughout the dialogue, and you know. But yeah, excellent, absolutely fucking excellent.
Like all nitpicks are nitpicks. They are very minor. Like, oh, this could have been done. Like, and also this game really doesn't feel like it needs a royal treatment.
No, it doesn't at all.
It really doesn't feel that way at all. It feels totally complete.
Yeah, no. I mean, I heard that there's a New Game Plus Dragon or something like that.
New Game Plus is not worth playing.
It's a million years long, so I'm sure.
You can. But
there's one boss
game, and you can
apparently
increase the difficulty as much as you want.
Yeah.
But for people like us who did that to the game on normal, you can't make that game system hit you hard enough. Because you've broken it.
Yeah, I went up to
you've broken the rules.
Doing the Dragon Towers, I picked the hardest one first, it seems, and like the fairy is like, "Why would you pick this one first?" In the dialogue,
that's an Etrian Odyssey character, like straight up.
Oh no shit! Really?
Yeah. Chat told me, but yeah, no, that's straight up a character from Etrian Odyssey.
That's cool. Okay.
That's kind of why she talks like she's not concurrent to the location that you're in.
Well, yeah, she's throwing out her these, thys, and thous, but she's also going, "You fucking scrub." you know?
Bitch ass.
Speaking of that, though, did you catch the hilarious moment where the prince wakes up and Will's voice for like 3 lines has a British accent?
There's a clip of me blowing out my microphone, just screaming like, no!
He tries for 3 lines and then immediately gives up. Like the next scene, the camera cuts.
So funny.
He was so British for just a second, and it makes sense, you know, given the world and everything. And then the voice actor just went, nah.
Body correctly.
And then, lo and behold, right? Why does Moore sound American, but Hythlodaeus sounds British? You know. Yeah. And so when they come together, there's that moment where like Moore towards the end starts getting a little more British. But no, they throw it away too. And so it's like when your mind is wiped, when you're a Brit and your mind is wiped, you become American.
I mean, obviously.
That's so fucking crazy. Your default settings for English are just American. Incredible. Absolutely incredible that they tried and gave up within the same scene twice with 2 different characters. What a fucking game.
What a great game.
The first video game to get on that bathwater juice while the memes are hot, right? Striking while...
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, you're right.
There's a mission where it's like, hey, go
Bathwater quest.
Go take a fucking Steve. Go take a dip, Prince. It'll be awesome. Sell me your bathwater.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
I'm like, when did this game get written? Yeah. Oh yeah. No, they knew. I'm not gonna for a second believe they didn't know.
She lost like crazy dollars on that.
I believe it.
Because she was like running afoul of some kind of food safety thing, and so for every like bottle she sold, the fine was more than what she was selling it for.
Oh man!
So she like lost a bundle on it.
Oh my god! Yeah. No, just seeing that mission pop up right there, in the last bits, I'm like, yeah, okay, perfect. Did you? So yeah, I guess when you said you ran out of things to do, I guess you had hit up the Coliseum.
I had done literally everything.
Okay.
I had I want to say like 13 days to go.
Okay.
And so I went to bed for 12 days.
Even like the optional storytellings and
all of it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Absolutely all of it.
Interesting. So I guess if you So if you spend not only if you single day every dungeon, but if you farm to like insane strength.
So you remember the bottom of the Shinjuku dungeon?
Mm-hmm.
You remember how there were 3 auto spawners in one room?
Yep.
Yeah, you just
sit there. Okay.
You can put a podcast on and really fuck that game's difficulty curve up.
So I did a little of that grinding, but I stopped when I got bored. I stopped when I kind of went, okay, I'm done.
Luckily, I have a brain that can just ignore boredom if it's repetitive enough.
Fair enough.
I played Monster Hunter games. Oh.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
This is not what I expected Persona 6 to be, but it's fucking phenomenal. And
I think we still have a Persona 6.
Of course we do. We do. I'm being cheeky. Yeah. But in terms of like the last time we talked about those games, and it's like, okay, you've got again the personal growth, and then P5 you've got the society and like the nail that stands out, and then harmonizing with the group. And this time around, I'm like, okay, Atlas, you're getting a little more comfortable.
Yeah,
you're getting a little more comfortable standing up and talking your shit.
It feels like Metaphor was written taking in mind complaints about Persona 5.
Right.
Because Persona 5, I think a lot of like, particularly like Western opinion on that story was, guys, we have to change society at a fundamental level by integrating ourselves correctly into society and defeating those who don't integrate correctly into society, which is like the opposite of its stated thesis. And Metaphor at the very least goes, I would like to change society for the better. That's hard, though. It's going to be hard, though.
Yes, man. And I kept thinking I remember from years ago when you were mentioning the that bit about like different schools of thought and like the I think it was like therapy in a Japanese context.
Oh yeah, often, Eastern versus Western context is change yourself to fit the world or change the world to fit yourself.
Yeah, right. And that bit where it's like, oh, we'll turn inside to you and see what you're doing wrong and how you can better fit into, the tapestry. And so, like, yeah, a lot of that, I was thinking of that while going through this, and I was like, no, this game is definitely swerving back the other way from where P5 with the whole like, no, fit in though, society's fine. This is like going like, no, there's shit that should change, and it's okay to call that out, and it's okay to want to work on improving that. Don't expect it to happen overnight. Recognize that lady on fucking Sun
Oh,
Lun
that
Leo
piece of shit
Road.
on Main Street.
That
Oh my
Main
God,
Street
Grand
piece of
Trad.
shit.
Oh, I love her.
Even after you have handed her the world, and she's like, I guess, you elder piece of shit, what does the world come to?
Don't touch me.
You know, and you're like, what the fuck? Yes, right? She is a part of the world too. And that you need to, and you have to acknowledge that she's going to be standing there no matter what you do going, what the fuck is that gross elder prince up to today? You know, while you breathe air and continue to live.
And everyone around her is like, I don't know, lady. Society has definitely been a little bit better than it has under Thithlodeus.
The
fucking elder.
Yeah. The also that the whole bit with yeah, like there were moments where this game, like, my eyebrow raised with the whole Orochimaru extreme forgiveness any percent clear. You know, I was like, and like Martyra cleared that for me. The whole you know, Martyra quest line was like, okay, no, we're good.
I really loved the naivete of the party kind of being put on display, where she's executed on the spot, and and people are like, what did you fucking think was gonna happen
here?
She just admitted to like slaughtering an entire town's worth of children, feeding
children to monster. Like, it's the most horrendous thing you can. It doesn't, she's being nice and contrite though. Like, no, get the fuck, that's crazy. But then there's those bits where, like, the Alonzo quest, right, where it's like, oh, that feels bad for the piece of shit that fucking was orchestrating it here, you know. And he pulls his twists and he you know, he pulls it off.
I totally died.
Yeah, he pulls it off and it works, but it's still like on the way there. It's like, your poor mom, man. You know.
Yeah, your mom's dead.
Your poor fucking mom, dude. You know.
Fucked up.
Not great. I like that the non-party members, you know, like people with the portraits that pop up each time you talk to Brigitte for the first time. I'm like, who the fuck is that? What are you about? And she's like, I'm an arms dealer, and if you say generic RPG answers to me, I hate you for them. You get no mag for talking basic shit to me. You better say what you mean. Also, if you tell anyone about my puppy, I'll fucking murder you. I'm like, okay. Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Also, most of the remaining quest is going to talk about how much I hate being part of the war economy, but also I'm going to use the war economy to genocide everybody who touched my dog.
Right. Yeah, Drebin. She's Drebin. 100%, right?
I'm going to get him.
I'm really surprised. So I'm really surprised that Edini wasn't anything there. I really thought he would be, because yeah, back when you were asking, well, I mean, we touched on it last time, where it's like Yufa joins the party, Edini doesn't, but Edini fucking looks like his grown Naruto ass is gonna join your party.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be the king of Etria,
right?
And he's gonna invent Etrian Odyssey.
Easy on the eyes, that one.
He's gonna do a bad job setting up a history program for their local school, because by the time you get to fucking Etrian Odyssey, ain't nobody knows what's down in that dragon dungeon.
Another British haircut character too. I wonder. I mean, I think suffice to say that, well, Etrian Odyssey is a different team, right? And then they teamed up with Persona Q to make those over. Yeah. Because like every other like one of those references were all like, this is our shit, but like that's from a different one in particular.
But it's still Atlas.
Yeah. Batlin's great. Batlin's great. What a good crier. He's fun from the jump, but I didn't expect him to be anything but just a really cool voice. Turns out he's fucking, you know, a solid.
I love him.
Yelling at the crowd toward the, like, all the way through to the end. Like, that's a real one. Yeah, no, everyone that you just kind of chill with. Whatchamacallit, Martyra dude, Barden. Am I getting that right? No. Anyway,
yeah, Barden, man.
Barden. Yeah, even him, where it's just like, that crazy fucking baby murdering shit was so insane that I am gonna overcompensate on security.
I feel like
super understandable.
people in my chat were too hard on Barden.
Nah, dude.
Because like you get to like rank 7 and 8 and you're like, he's like, I am creating a fascist police state for everyone's benefit.
Yeah.
So obvious it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But you've been like months removed from like, well, what drove him to this? So that shit it happened right under his nose.
Do you remember the baby conveyor belt crushing machine that was happening right under his watch? You know? So no, I completely got that. And like the fact that multiple times in his quest line, you, the protagonist, gets to be like, yo, dude, chill. And he's like, ah, you know, I'm like, no. I completely understand. That overreaction is what happens when you are getting over the fact that a baby crushing machine has just been discovered in your city. You know,
especially since you were the safety inspector for the baby crushing machine.
God, yeah. That's it. You know.
Oh yeah, that game's great.
It's fucking great, and
it's great.
I can't wait to recommend it, like with a million fucking disclaimers, because it's like, this is a game you might never finish with your normal time as an adult, but give it a shot.
There's 2 disclaimers, right? It's like, it's long, and you can't drop it for a while and come back. Like you have like when you drop it, you have like a 2-week countdown before you come back, and the archetype system just goes in your brain.
Yeah. You need to stare at that archetype system when you come back for a while, for sure. What I will say is, if I were playing this, you know, pre YouTube and on my own time, I would play until I hit a Luis plot point, and then get hooked back in. And then, that's your trajectory slinger, is every time you have a Luis date coming up, you know? So,
with Luis, if only.
I mean, I was like, I would not be surprised if they speed ran a 8-tier relationship with Luis right before the end, you know? Like, I'm ready for anything like that. Like, the villain gets his own relationship with you to discuss the difference in your philosophies. I'm down. You know, why the fuck not?
I feel like Lewis is too much of a transparent psychopath for that to work. But like, too many of those conversations would just be like, I think we should stop using orphans for airship fuel. And then his response would be like, then how am I gonna get across town in time for my meeting?
But okay, that whole thing where he's like such a really convincing sociopath, right? Like, and then I was talking about it last time. You find out here that it's like, that wasn't just from birth, that's self-imposed from trauma, because PTSD turned you into that, right? He decided to become that person because fuck other people and fuck other things. I have my ideals and just me, and that's it. You know, it's a self-imposed sociopathy.
At the same time, like, he is given like maybe 50 different opportunities from every single character that ever talks to him to walk it back even a little bit. Right up until the moment of his death. He's like, no. This is how I want to do it.
Right.
Full speed ahead.
How about fucking walking through town and seeing all of his best generals being like, yeah, I got off the ship. You know? Like, at some point you're like, yeah, no. The only ones that stayed are all just monsters now. You know? It's
like a character that is standing there going, I have reached the apex of my personal growth. I don't need to grow anymore. And how do I know that? Because you can't beat me up.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if I needed to have more personal growth, I wouldn't have survived this ridiculous assassination attempt, would I?
You can't touch Griffith, so you're wrong, and he's right. It's that simple. And then you go from Lucifer form into, you know, the human, the shattered mask, you know, and then of course cutscene only. The king archetype, you know. I mean, I was wondering if we were going to do a Luciferio, not Luciferio. What was it called? Luciferius, I believe. P5, you know, fucking Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, you know.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, it's the whole airship, so you're fucking huge.
Yeah.
In that cutscene,
but
it's not clear because you're in the sky and there's no.
Sataniel, excuse me, Sataniel. Yeah, that's the one. But you know, you get the point. You get the point.
He's not Lucifer, though.
No.
Wink.
No. Okay. That's just about all of it. There it is.
It's such a good game.
Such a good game. Go play it and fucking mark your real calendar off.
Well, you can't recommend people play it inside the part of the podcast that's the spoiler cast.
No, I suppose not. That doesn't make any sense. I'm glad you played it then. How about that?